Recording. So hello everyone. Mike Barkoff here with the Live Free Podcast. Today's guest is Nicholas Merchant. Am I saying that correctly?
That's right.
Okay. Sweet. A content creator that has worked with Draco Lloyd. Is there anyone else you've worked with?
Mainly just with Drake and doing stuff on my own.
Oh, okay. Recently. Sweet. How did you get started?
So, with Draco Lloyd or kind of in general?
In general, and then we'll do with Draco Lloyd.
So I've always been interested in film and TV from when I was like 8 or 9, making movies with my friends and stuff. And I made a YouTube channel when I was 10, and from there it was just constantly making content. Whenever I had free time, I was out there. At first it was like Nerf Wars, then I did some animation. And now I mainly do comedy, sitcoms, and then I'm doing some dramatic short films.
That's literally exactly how I started, where I made a YouTube channel and I started with like animation and whatnot, but my animation was horrible.
Me too.
Yeah, yep. I've actually seen a lot of people on Twitter when Draco Lloyd Adult Zone first launched, they said that my content was reminding them of you and your content.
I saw a lot of that, and I checked out your channels and stuff, and I definitely agree. Like,
I watched Derek and Ryan the first episode. It was really funny, but yeah, I mean, I saw like, oh wow, I could see me and my buddy doing something like this too if we would have had the idea for it.
Yeah, well, I saw you made a feature or 2 feature-length movies.
Yeah, yep. There's 3 now. But that was just, that was just May, so, yeah. But, yeah, the 3rd one's only 45 minutes. It wasn't ideally feature, but barely cutting the time limit, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, like, because I feel like we have very similar backgrounds. I filmed a feature film a year ago now, but we never released it, so.
Oh, you haven't released it? Are you going to, or?
Probably not at this point, but it was a great learning experience.
Oh, so. Man. Yeah, see, I understand that. I look back at mine and I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't release that because it's not really up to my standards, but I was overly ambitious and did, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, dude, I'm impressed by, the most tough thing is advertising and putting yourself out there and, like,
it really is.
Like, I Google your name and you have 5 links that come up to your stuff.
Oh, really? That's good to know. Yeah, I can help you out a little bit with that, too, if you ever need me to, because I'm really trying to learn that. Like, I'm the one that does the IMDb pages for Draco Lloyd, so if you ever need... I don't know if you're on IMDb.
Nice. I'm not.
I can set you up on that.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. After this, after we get done recording this, you could send me the stuff over, and I'll get to work on it. It takes me a little bit of time to do it, but I'll do it.
Oh, well, thank you. I was looking through your IMDb page. It seemed very thorough.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I try to. Yeah, I have a buddy that actually he texted me and he was like, "Did you know I was on IMDb?" And I was like, "I made that for you." How did you start with Draco Lloyd? How did you meet him?
So in 2015, he reached out to me regarding this show called Freshman Fall. It was one of his classic internet collaborations where everyone just records themselves with their camera and then he stitches it together, kind of like a virtual table read, which now is very common with COVID.
Yeah.
But that show ended up, it was a lot of fun. I filmed my parts. I don't think it really came together beyond the pilot, never got released. But, the connection there, I immediately saw Drake had this wonderful, audience that he'd built up, this beautiful community to support creators and to allow, the audience to really engage closely. And so ever since then, I've been making stuff with him.
That's pretty cool. When did you say this was? 2015?
Yeah.
Man, that's
7 years ago.
Yeah, that's a long time. Was Draco Lloyd out at that point? Arctic? Was Arctic out at that point? I'm trying to think.
It was. I believe it was about a year old. So it's the funny thing, like, throughout my whole time with Drake, Arctic has always been the #1 show there.
Yeah, and you've never been on that, have you?
I haven't. There was, 3 different points where we were gonna have me guest star, but it never never worked out.
I see. I just skimmed a little bit of High School after I watched Derek and Ryan. They're connected, right? Derek and Ryan is a sequel.
Yeah. So Derek and Ryan is basically what happened with High School is we don't have it just ends with a cliffhanger. So we never wanted to leave it like that. So Derek and Ryan is a revival of the show with Derek and I, who also star in High School, playing the same characters, and our older versions of ourselves, and we kind of complete the story.
So is it only going to be like one season of Derek and Ryan and then you're done, or?
So we filmed 2 seasons right now.
Oh, really?
4 episodes each. So So our big problem with High School is we would release stuff and didn't quite have the next thing ready. So with this, we made sure have the whole thing, the whole series, from the pilot to the finale shot before you start releasing anything. So we wrapped. We actually wrapped 2 weekends ago.
That's really interesting. That's cool. So how often are these going to be released?
So we have another one coming out February 3rd. So next Thursday, and I think it's me and Derek's favorite episodes, called Derek and Ryan Fight Nazis.
Okay.
And then we will have 2 more at least this year, and then we're working on season 2 as we speak.
Okay, sweet. I'm pretty excited for that. That first one had me laughing pretty hard. Yeah, I really liked the Jeffrey Epstein opening.
Yeah, I got some pushback on that.
Yeah. You really did?
Sorry?
You really did? You got pushback?
Yeah, well, so this show is obviously more of an adult show. High School is more like for a teen audience, and this show is obviously kind of designed maybe more TVMA. But Drake had a couple notes on like the first episode, and we toned it back a little bit.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's always very, I want to make sure it's something that he's willing to release. Derek and Ryan was actually not. It wasn't filmed as a Dracoloid show. He does re-released the pilot, and we're also going to be doing a couple feature episodes. But it's mainly produced independently, so it's more a matter of what does he want to cut out of his version of it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's good to know. So there's another version out there.
Yeah. So we are actually now releasing stuff on a channel called Maroon TV, and I'll send you the link to that. But so that's going to be the primary place for Derek and Ryan, and for a lot of my content, it's through my university, the University of Chicago, and there'll just be lots of different content from me and from people who I'm working with.
So you run that Maroon TV one?
Yep.
Sweet.
I'm currently co-president of that.
Oh, that's really cool. You said that's like related to the University of Chicago?
Yeah, so it's a student organization. We get funding from them. It's open to University of Chicago students. We also have some actors who are outside. So Derek, who plays in Derek and Ryan, he doesn't go to that university, but he's the star of the show. So it's a really fun place for students and also just for people who are interested in funny content, interested in also we're gonna have dramatic content. It's a pretty wide variety of stuff.
That's really cool. Especially that you're getting funded for that. Like, that's really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's nice to have a budget for stuff.
Yeah, it really is. How long have you? So you're going to college, right?
Yeah. So right now. I'm a third year.
Third year. Okay.
I started being president of this at the beginning of this academic year. We're still getting stuff, in place, producing content. But hopefully we're going to kick up to a more regular release schedule soon.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in checking out more on that. Do you have a whole lot more on there other than Derek and Ryan?
Right now we have another show called Chicago Phoenix. It's a little niche, more of a satirical news show in like the Colbert Report style.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
A show I'm really excited that we're bringing soon is called American Killer in College. And it's a very pulpy, fun show about this serial killer and she's going around killing students. And so we just filmed the pilot on that. We're working on feature episodes, but I'm super pleased with what we have so far.
I definitely need to check those out. So do you write, direct, act, and all of the above?
So I I do out of necessity for like Derek and Ryan and stuff. Personally, for a lot of the projects, I'm the producer. I'm like supervising. I'll step in when needed. But for Derek and Ryan, yeah, write, direct, act, produce, sometimes edit. Even though I don't like doing it, but
you don't like editing?
No, I'm not a big fan.
I see. Editing's probably my favorite part. Editing and writing are probably my favorite parts.
See, everyone tells me this. Everyone's like, "How do you not like editing?" Everyone loves editing. Yeah.
it can become really strenuous and boring. I can definitely understand how that would be. If you're trying to edit the same line over and over again, and you end up playing it 50 times back and forth. I've been in the room with someone when I'm doing that, and they've said, I don't understand how you don't go crazy doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it can be a lot.
That's the truth. And like eventually, it loses all meaning to you. You've seen the word so many times, you can't understand what was even funny about it in the first place.
That is true too. Yeah, yep. That's why whenever I edit, I usually take a long time away from the date I edited it to the date I release it, so I have some time to forget about it a little bit.
That's a good advice there for how to edit, because you want to look at your work with fresh eyes.
You really do, yes. Yep. And I even actually go to some people for advice too, especially seeing if there's something that I forgot to cut, because if you're the only person editing, it's definitely easy to make a mistake and forget something.
Yeah, very true. And I find, I right now have, the privilege of working with some good editors who, are interested in editing and like it. And I feel like the fresh eyes that they bring, as editing, as not the director of it, they really can see stuff that I would never see and make it better than what I would have done myself, which is just really, really wonderful.
See, I could only imagine that, because usually I'm forced to edit and direct, or, at least write and edit, so I don't really get the ability to look at something that I don't know too much about and edit it. But I bet that would make it a lot different, for sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting process. I just started this year because normally, as you said, like I think we have very similar backgrounds. Like you're just kind of a one-man show of like getting everything done.
That is exactly how I operate a majority of the time. Yeah. Unfortunately.
It's tough to learn. Yeah, when you're doing that for so long, it sounds like both of us have. It's tough to let go of some of that control. And
it really is.
Yeah.
And it's been really worse ever since COVID, because it's like you don't know when it's right to go out and do that, with a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's tough. It's tough to meet people and make those, connections that you need to like build a little crew that you can trust.
It really is. And then you also don't want to put a whole lot on the line, because if somebody gets sick and that screws up the entire operation, then you're delaying the time, or you're running the budget back, and it's just not working out the way that it's supposed to. Yeah, the pandemic's made it pretty hard for an upcoming filmmaker to really do what they want to be able to do. But hopefully we're on the brighter side of that.
Hopefully, yeah. I'm looking forward to having less restrictions, because we were very lucky with Derek and Ryan. This summer we filmed season 2 in a span of 2 weeks, and it was the 2 weeks that all the restrictions were being lifted in the United States, where you didn't even have to wear masks.
Oh, really?
So it was just the timing worked out so well. But then this fall I was shooting a different film with a different organization, and they're wonderful, but they're much bigger. They were providing higher funds, so with that comes, you have to have a COVID safety plan. You have to follow very strict regimens. You got to test your actors. You got to make sure everyone's vaccinated, masked, distanced. You have like a safety coordinator on set. So I'm looking forward to not having to do that anymore. I
bet that costs a lot of money too for whoever's financing these projects. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
It's definitely very, like, I'm very happy to do all these like restrictions and stuff, because
the safety,
it's their money and they're providing, and it's exactly as you said, like it's safety.
Yeah.
And you don't, I love film. I love it so much, but it's not worth someone's health.
Yeah, exactly. And it sucks, because it's like you have the idea and you really just want to get it done and over with, but you have to really prioritize and be like, that's not important right now, which sucks. That's delayed me from making my 4th film too, is COVID. So Hopefully we get over the bump soon.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, you know, I think this Omicron thing could be a blessing in disguise if we, you know, take our precautions now, let it run its course. Hopefully there's a brighter day tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be. I really hope we start taking it a bit more serious. You know, get it done and over with for sure this time. We'll see, though. We'll see.
We'll see. You know, at this point, it's after 2 years of it. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised which way it goes. You know.
Yeah.
What are going to be projects you're working on after COVID, or even coming up in the next few months or year?
So right now, I have a ton of stuff filmed. I promised myself I wouldn't film anything new until I get through the pipeline. So right now, we're working, getting Derek and Ryan season 1 through the pipeline. I have 2 wonderful editors working on the remaining 2 episodes. And then season 2, we're going to figure out once that is complete and get that edited. And it's all shot, which I'm just very thankful for. It's all in the can. It looks great from what I've seen. Very funny stuff. And then other than that, I have a dramatic short film. It's one of my first dramatic projects that I'm very pleased with. We just wrapped production. It's all complete. And that we were going to have a theatrical premiere 2 weeks ago. Obviously
really?
Got canceled.
That's cool.
It was through the university again. Hopefully we're going to have the opportunity at the end of this term to do that again. I'm very excited. I'm very proud of that too. We had a really wonderful cast, really wonderful crew to work with there.
Are you going to be releasing that one on YouTube, or do you have other ideas for to put that one out at?
So, yeah, great question. I right now, I think we're looking at a festival run for it, and then once that is complete, or once we figure out the details on that, eventually it'll be released online as well.
Okay, sweet. I'm excited to see it, especially to see what it does for what festivals it goes to. Hopefully it gets to go.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
That'd be sweet. So you said it's a drama. It's not like a horror or nothing.
So it's an interesting project. I was hired without the original director wasn't able to direct it, and I was hired without even reading the script. And but I just based off the concept, it was super cool. It's kind of a sci-fi drama. It's 15 minutes, and it reminds me a lot of the Twilight Zone, Black Mirror kind of stuff.
I love the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Oh, me too. I'm a huge fan. And so there's a lot of that influence in there. It also there's a certain, like, I don't know if you've seen the movie I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Yes, that was a great film.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So there's a lot of stuff like that.
That's the one that was on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
And it had Jesse Plemons in it?
Yep.
Yes. Good movie.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a crazy movie. That was from the guy that made that. He made one of my other favorite movies. I don't think he directed it. I think he just wrote it. But he also directed or wrote or both The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah, I haven't. I really like my writer who wrote this film was like, you need to see Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh man, it's so good. You need to check it out.
Yeah, I do. No, Charlie Kaufman's great. I really liked his stuff with Spike Jonze.
Her is great too. He wrote that one?
You know, now that I think about it, I don't remember. He did Being John Malkovich with him.
That was a great movie too. Yeah.
Which I really like that one.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's funny with the guy with the door that's like, or not the door, but the floor that's like half the size or whatever. You remember that part?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that how they get to the device that makes them?
Into his mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's been a while since I've seen it. That's funny though.
Me too. It's that kind of bizarre. It's such a wonderful aesthetic. It's very difficult to recreate, but I was really lucky to have the time, because usually, I don't know about you, but usually when I'm working on something, it's a race against the clock. Like, you just have to get it done super quick.
Yep.
And this was the first project I had. We had 4 like 6-hour shoots for a 15-minute film, which is a pace I'm not used to working that slowly, having that much time. It was really, really
that would be great to have, honestly.
Yeah.
And
we
You said it's a 15-minute film, right?
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Sweet. I'm stoked to see this. What could you say anything about what it's about or anything?
Yes. So it's called April 14th. It explores a relationship between two people. They're this couple, and they're on this date, but stuff isn't quite as it seems. Stuff starts to go awry, and eventually, I don't want to spoil anything, but it definitely isn't quite what it seems to be at first. There's a bit of a sci-fi twist to it.
I'm really stoked to see that. That sounds straight out of Twilight Zone.
Yeah, that was hopefully it comes across that way when someone sees the final product.
So you didn't write this, but you directed it, right?
Yeah, so I ended up rewriting.
Oh, you did. Okay, sweet.
I ended up rewriting most of it.
You rewrote it and kinked it to be a little bit more to your liking.
Yeah, and I think I'm used to writing my own stuff, so it was a challenge to come in, and it was a really interesting concept. And the initial writer, Timmy Lee, very talented guy. So it was really fun to speak with him about his ideas for it, and be able to kind of take the reins, because he was busy with another project, and kind of develop it further to something a little more cinematic was my goal with the rewrite.
I'm really excited to see this. I guess in terms of how you just said that you rewrote that a little bit, I was kind of wondering if you're like me where you have an easier time acting in something if you've written it because you know what the character's supposed to be thinking and feeling a lot more if you've written it.
Definitely. I think, anytime I've acted in something that I haven't written, I feel like I'm terrible. I'm sure my directors hate me because I've ended up rewriting like half of it to get it to some place where I understand what I'm supposed to be delivering.
I'm glad I'm not the only person that feels that way. It sucks.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, as a director, I would hate my actors for doing that. So I'm a huge hypocrite.
Yeah, exactly. I hear that 110%. Like, that's such a weird thing to me. Like, I understand why a lot of people do that, act and write and direct, because they want to be able to follow that footprint that they have set that they know is there.
Yeah.
But it was weird because before I started actually taking it a little somewhat serious, I would see Ben Affleck doing The Town and Argo, and I'd be like, I can't believe that he's doing all that on his own for this one movie. But now it's easier for me to understand why. But
yeah,
it's cool to know that I'm not the only person that thinks that way.
Yeah, I mean, I looking at your stuff, it really was when everyone on Dracoloid was saying like, oh, Mike is the new Nicholas. I really think it's true because it seems like we have very similar backgrounds, very similar like work catalogs, and it's very, very cool to see a kindred spirit there.
It is very cool. I hope eventually we can collaborate some way or some form. Like, that'd be sweet. But
definitely.
Yeah, we gotta try to figure that out. And if it don't work, it don't work. But it would be sweet. But
yeah. Well, I'd love to. Where are you based? Your film stuff.
We're in Iowa actually, so we're neighbors basically, state neighbors.
That's far.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Yeah. I don't know, like, whatever you'd be working on, but I'd be down to help out in whatever way I could whenever the timing aligns for it. But
definitely, we should definitely. I mean, this is and just for your audience, we've never spoken before, so this is our first time.
Exactly.
First time meeting.
Yeah.
But I would love to work on something for sure.
Yeah, it'd be great. What would you rather collaborate in terms of, like, would you rather we both act on a project or even collaborate as directors, or what would you be interested in doing?
I mean, I don't know. I'm open. I love every step of the process except for editing.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I'm really happy with anything. I'd love to co-write something with you, act in it. And one thing I just love about the filmmaking process is collaboration, is meeting people and working with them.
It makes
I think it
makes it special and memorable.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really makes for a better, finished film. I think like having more minds on it who work together well
Yeah.
can really make something beautiful.
Yeah, it makes it it makes it have not just one heart or mindset in it, but multiple. And I do think that's really where you'll see films that have just the right amount of comedy in the mix work. Because I've seen a lot of films, especially lately, where I've been like, oh, there's way too much comedy in that. And
Yeah.
There's some that do really good at not having too much, but just the right amount. And I think that's what helps make it have the right amount, is if you have a lot of mindsets working together to make sure that they're not being overly abundant with that.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point you bring up when it comes to like tone.
Yeah.
And finding the right tone for your work, and I've struggled with that a lot in the past. But
I have too. I think it would be a lot easier, and will be a lot easier for the both of us as we advance and meet even more people and get into our right pockets of people that we're supposed to be working with. One thing I've noticed for sure is that if you're working with your best friend, of course, they're going to make you be all silly. So you're going to end up with a film that has a lot more silly elements to it, even if you weren't intending for that to happen. But
that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. And, then the flip side, sometimes like you're trying to do a comedy. Like this summer with Derek and Ryan, obviously it's a sitcom, so we need to be funny. But we were doing 16-hour days by the end of it to just get everything done. And you're working 16 hours. You're waking up at 6 a.m. to get started, and you're not wrapping until 10 or 11. Or on the worst days, we were wrapping at 2 a.m. And it's tough. It's tough to try to be light and funny when you're sleep deprived. And
exactly.
Angry at everyone.
Yeah. That I'm sure that there's also something in the mix of that rushing around that makes that seem even more so like you guys are really devoted to it, because you knew that you had that time limit and you knew that you had to get it done in that time. So I think when your viewers see that, maybe not right away, but maybe a year from now, 10 years from now, they're going to say, well, that's even better because of the fact that they were so devoted. So even the fact that they were sleep deprived made it a little bit more special and better.
That's a great point. And
yes.
I think it's very true, because the reason everyone's no one's spending 16 hours a day unless they're super passionate and they care about it a lot.
Yeah.
And everyone, even when we were fighting and getting into conflicts, it's because everyone had very strong opinions on how to make this great, and everyone wouldn't rest until it was the best it could be. And I do think it reflects in the final product.
Yeah, and that's just good, because that shows that you guys all care about the project quite a bit. I don't know if you know Conan O'Brien or if you like Conan O'Brien, but he's one of my favorite comedians, and he actually did a documentary between two of his shows, Conan O'Brien Can't Stop, and in that documentary he does a concert or tour run, and he's really sleep deprived and stuff, and in that documentary he's acting completely different than how he normally would because of the fact that he's so tired, but it makes for a great look back at his career because you're seeing him in a different limelight.
Yeah. Conan's a great example. I mean, what a hardworking guy he is. His
he
podcast,
really is.
He had a show. That's like the kind of workaholic energy you really need to have to be successful in the industry.
Yes. Yep. He's one of my favorites, honestly. Him and Eminem are two people I really look up to. I know that's a weird mix of people to look up to.
I should introduce you to Derek, because every break from filming, Derek would be rapping Eminem lyrics.
Oh, really? That's really cool. Yeah. I bet me and him would get along great.
Yeah, I should have had him over on this podcast. I could have interviewed both of us.
Oh man, we could definitely do a second podcast episode where you guys are both on it. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure the Dracoloid audience would love that.
Because, dude, I could do it in promotion for one of the next Derek and Ryan's.
Oh, that's actually a great idea.
Yeah, if you're down for it.
I'm super down, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, it might be good. I've done this in the past to get some questions from the audience, because they always have all these little questions about all this stuff from high school, like the characters, and we could answer some of those.
Oh yeah, do like a little Q&A, like have them drop
Yeah.
off their cues and then we read them on the podcast.
Yeah, if you're down.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. That'd be fun. We've never really done anything interactive like that here, unfortunately, before. But I definitely it's overdue to do something like that. Been doing this podcast since 2019, and we haven't done nothing like that yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How many episodes have you done of the podcast?
This is only, I think, week 14. We call them week, but they're not released weekly. So week 1 may have come out in September 2019. Week 2 might have come out in November 2019. They're all over the place. We took a huge break because of the pandemic. And, you know, we couldn't really meet up with anyone. I wish I would have known Draco Lloyd then, because then I would have done this way back when, but I didn't know him at that time period, so I didn't have anyone that I could talk to on a podcast. So
yeah,
it was a long period of no podcast. We've gone months without doing them, but we're starting to get back into it where we're trying to do 2 a month. But
that's wonderful. I mean, 14 is nothing to sneeze at. I was watching the episode that you did with Sarah Kellison.
Yeah,
it seemed really interesting stuff.
Yeah, that was my first time meeting her also on that one. And I was worried. I was like, man, I'm going to screw this up. But it actually went pretty well, I'd say. She's really cool, and she actually talked you up too. I was like, yeah, I'm doing one with Nick Merchant soon. And she was like, oh, he's the nicest person I've ever met.
Oh, that's very sweet of her. Yeah, Sarah is wonderful. I love the Draco Lloyd community because you meet these wonderful creators, and you know, we were the stars of 2 big shows for so many years together. We'd send each other like Twitter DMs, just like, oh, I saw your new episode. That's wonderful. And it was very sad when she left Arctic. So that was something, a place I reached out to her and was just like, thank you so much for your contributions, because the network would not be what it was without her, for sure.
Yeah, that's really nice of you to do that. I bet she really appreciated that. See, I don't really have too much experience like that because I've only worked with Draco Lloyd for about a year now. So I don't have that, and I don't know too many people on the network either. I don't really know the current posse, I guess, but I know more of the OG people.
Yeah, I mean, me too. The network is definitely changing. It's definitely shifting, as it should. You need growth. Like, you're someone who can usher in a new era of content, and having a fresh new creator is just a wonderful thing. And the OG squad, of course, we're around. We love it. We're following it. Sarah, I remember, she actually filmed a guest role for the original high school finale that we never completed, but she did just such a fantastic job. It's a real shame we couldn't release that episode, but her performance is just hilarious.
Why couldn't you? So you filmed a whole finale episode, but then you never released it?
Yeah, so it's a long story. It was called Camp Kenny. It's at this point notorious amongst the fans, but it was supposed to wrap up this long storyline, the student council election storyline, or not election, sorry, student council storyline, and it was just a case of, these seasons take 2 years to make. You write yourself into a corner sometimes where you have 3 episodes that lead to one place and you realize you don't have a way out. And that was a situation where we were trying to deconstruct Derek and Ryan's relationship and explore it in an interesting way. And we realized we kind of had written ourselves to a point where, it would take a lot for their friendship to heal. And weirdly, what we decided to do is we never completed it there. It really came down to just not having the right story. And now with Derek and Ryan, as you saw with the first episode, we just kind of ignore it for now.
Oh, so you will address it later?
We will. So,
oh, okay.
I don't know how much I should say.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I don't want to spoil it. I'm excited to see it too. You're making me. So I didn't realize that it was really that connected to high school. I need to go back and watch high school now.
Yeah, so I mean, it's designed purposely to let new viewers in. So people who haven't seen High School, it's really just it's a low concept sitcom, same characters.
I
But we
figured
will,
I figured you were just like, for the most part, ignoring high school, kind of.
so the way it kind of comes in is we come to this time jump. It's 2 years later, and we don't really explain how Derek and Ryan have gotten to where they are now. They're just that they're still great friends, as always. But what we will do is in the series finale, without revealing any spoilers of the story, but we will be doing in the series finale an extended flashback sequence to reveal what happened with the student council arc. And in that sequence, we'll use the original footage that we shot from Camp Kenny. So it'll really be Derek and I from 4 years ago, and it'll be all of the starring cast of High School coming back.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. That is really cool. We have stuff on our channel that we never completed the storyline for. I guess it's probably the channel before this channel now. But we did a James Bond versus Batman film.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, we did that in, I would have been in 9th grade, so like 2015. And then we went to do a sequel in 2016, but we did the first one for film school, the second one was just for fun. And we never finished filming the second one, but we did get quite a bit done, but a lot of that sits unreleased too, so
Yeah.
I might have to study your technique and do something similar for that.
So that's it's very interesting because it sounds like you're in the same spot as me. But how do you feel about when you get a story, especially as a writer, like you work so much, and as a director too, you're filming all this, and then the story never gets complete. Like for you, what is your take on that? Leaving the stuff unfinished.
With that Bond and Batman Part 2, it sucked, but I didn't really care about it too much, primarily because of the fact that James Bond and Batman aren't original. So
Yeah.
I was more like, oh, I'm just excited to see the new movies, rather than I want to see my movie get done. But if it was something original that didn't get complete, which we actually do have something original that didn't get complete, now that I'm thinking about this in the middle of the sentence. Windfall, my second film, was supposed to be a web series, and there was supposed to be 4 seasons. Instead, there was only 1 season completed, and it was released as a film. So we're missing 6 plus 6 plus 8 episodes. That would be 12, 20 episodes. 20 episodes were not released or filmed,
Wow.
but about half of them were scripted. It sucks, but so much changes, and you can't really go back and redo it or redo anything. Yeah. So you just kind of got to look to the bright side and focus on what you could do better for a potential other project. That's kind of how I look at it, I guess. Because
it's a learning experience.
Yeah, in my experience, when it comes to that stuff, it really is that I can't finish it. Like, I just can't, because I lost a crew member that was going to do this, or a cast member that was going to do that.
Yeah.
I could go back and get a replacement, but I don't like watching a sequel to a movie where they have a different actress portraying the same character. It drives me nuts. So
Me too. Yeah,
Yeah.
The recasting.
yeah.
That was one thing. I not to throw shade, but with the Draco and Choids like Arctic, I loved when they kept the same actors, like having Sarah throughout all 6 seasons, the first 6 seasons, or having Weird Paul, who plays the principal. He does a fantastic job.
And he's still on it today, right?
Still on it. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a fantastic, professionally made documentary about him, which was just really fascinating. He's a really awesome guy, it seems like, and a really passionate creator. But seeing the recasting always bothered me, because I really think the actors bring so much to a character, and especially in a long running show, they make the character. So to get rid of them, you really do lose something.
Yeah.
Regardless of who you get.
I can agree with that. It sucks. I know it's never anybody's fault. Nobody wants that to happen, but that's why I just draw the line and I say, I'll start something different, make something better.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it works out for a lot of people, especially in your case, because you're actually able to go back and redo it and tell the story that you wanted to tell all those years ago. I'm sure that seems almost therapeutic.
Definitely. I was super lucky, and, you know, the fans, it really came down to the fans. If people didn't care, I wouldn't have gone back. But no, you know, 2 years after the last episode of High School aired, I still had people on Twitter messaging me from the Drake Lloyd community, like, what happened here? What happens next? Like, what is going to happen with this episode? And I was so lucky. It took a lot of work, but I was able to get the majority of that cast back, or really, actually, in fact, every single person that we asked. You know, it took some negotiating with some of them to get the schedules to work out, but we got them all back. And it just, a lot of them look very different, but really, really lucky to be able to step in and see where the characters are at a couple years later.
I bet that feels really cool, especially getting those people on Twitter texting you about that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And, you know, the community there is just one of the most special things. It's not a huge community, but it's just such a, you know, the Drake Lloyd community, they really care about the shows, and all these fans, they care about the characters, they remember the details. It's beautiful. And when I make this stuff, what makes it worth it in the end is that, really. I'm
excited to see where Derek and Ryan goes next. I'm sure everybody else is too. Is that the project that you're most proud of?
Yeah, I'm super proud of it. I'm, you know, very happy with how it's turning out, and I'm super, super looking forward to people being able to see it. Even now, you know, we've already shot, we have 2 seasons in the can, we're still thinking about, okay, what do we do next with these characters? Is it another movie? Is it another series? Is it another season of this series? There's really no quitting, and I'm super proud of both characters and the whole universe.
So this isn't the end for them?
No.
Okay.
I would, you know, if I had to bet, I'm pretty sure we'll keep going. And I always think, you know, Derek and Ryan has a special place in my heart. Derek and I, we're going to get matching tattoos when we finally finish this. So we better get it done because it's going to be permanently there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's sweet. I'm glad to hear that, because that comedy I saw in there was like, I mean, it's funny, and it's like I wasn't expecting that, you know. Like, I really wasn't. I turned that on and I'm like, oh, I bet this is going to be, you know, like, funny, but I saw it and I'm like, this is just, like, the writing's so funny. Like, I was not expecting that. It reminded me of that show Community.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's how the writing reminded me of. I was like, this shouldn't be on YouTube. This should be almost on, like, Netflix.
Well, I appreciate that. I think the thing I'm most proud of is probably the writing. So yeah, thank you.
I seen a comment that was like, Planty is the best written character on any TV show or something.
Yeah, I think those comments on those, I think, are mostly Derek and I's friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was pretty funny, though. I liked that, too. Your character is Ryan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's covered in rainwater, and Derek's like, why are you covered in rainwater? And Ryan's like, he's like, I don't know. And Derek's like, it had to have been my sister. That knocked over Planty.
Obvious. It's so obvious.
And then you go in there and your character flips the table.
Oh my god.
Plays bad cop.
The good cop. Yeah, the table flip, you know, that's something you get one take of, because we only had one table and it, like, breaks when you flip it.
Oh, really? That whole thing broke?
And the funny thing is, like, I'm really drilling it, and I'm pretty good about not breaking, and so is Derek, since he's been doing this for so long. But Ariadne, who plays Amanda, Derek's sister in the show, she was having trouble, so we faced her away. But what we didn't consider is it was so funny when we ended up doing it that the camera operator breaks. So if you see, the camera starts shaking a little bit because the camera operator just couldn't. Henrik, he was just like, no one was expecting it to be quite that big.
I need to rewatch it. Yeah, 'cause that part really had my attention. And then I like when Derek, too. I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting your guys' names wrong. Derek's name is Derek in real life.
Yeah, so Derek he plays Derek. I play Ryan. And yeah, don't worry about everyone else's name.
I need to go back and rewatch the rest. But when Derek is taken off with Planty in the tractor wagon or whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
and he's talking to you on the steps, and every step he goes down, the wagon hits the step, and it's as loud as it can humanly be in the middle of your guys' conversation. Did you edit that noise in there to make it even more loud?
I don't think so. I think that was the original noise.
Really? It's so loud, and it delays the conversation for so long. Like that was so funny.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that was one thing where we kind of, it was one of the first scenes we shot, and we wanted the joke to come out. We had to get the timing exactly right. And the thing that for me works best, and I think it's because it's, we're doing a lot of comedy, is rehearsal. Every scene needs to be really well rehearsed to get it right. So that's where it came from, to get the timing of the joke just completely right.
That might have been my favorite part in there, honestly. I need to.
I'm very glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I need to watch it again. I'm looking forward to the second one. You said it's called Fight Nazis, right?
Yeah, so yep. Derek and Ryan fight Nazis. Second episode. This is the one episode that I edited myself, so hopefully it's not terrible.
Oh, really?
But yeah, so we have 4 editors for season 1, 4 episodes, so it's fresh eyes on each one.
I'm super excited to see it. Can you say anything about what that one's about?
Yeah, so I think fans of high school will be very excited, because basically Derek and Ryan are having a good time, and their old friend Sean, who was last seen in 2017, so it's been 5 years. We got the original actor Paul back. He did a wonderful job, and Sean comes and says, "I'm working for the FBI. I need you to infiltrate the house of a Nazi and pretend to be Nazis." And they agree. And the twist is, they don't tell him that they just did a lot of LSD.
Okay. I'm excited to see that. That sounds pretty good. Was high school like that, where you use drugs in the mix, or is that a new thing?
No. So yeah, the tone is totally, I think, different now.
Okay.
And a big part, high school was really a show more for like a teen audience. We kept it a little more PG. And I think we wanted, I don't know where it came from, but we wanted to have the tone of the show age up with the characters. So now it's a little more adult. We have more adult jokes. Obviously, the first episode's called "Grow Weed."
Yeah.
The next one is Derek and Ryan join a pyramid scheme. Derek and Ryan eat broccoli.
I'm excited for pyramid scheme.
Dude, that's a fun episode too. It's being edited right now. I'm very happy with all of them, though.
I'm excited to see them all. You said it'll be 8 episodes, right?
Yep, 8 up. That's the current plan.
Okay. Okay. It could change.
Well, yeah, it could change depending on if we cut some stuff, because season 2 we kind of get long with the episodes. We got to one episode I think was 37 pages.
Oh, really?
So that'll be actually 2 episodes were around that length. So we might want to split them to get 2 20-minute episodes, depending on how long they come out to be.
Yeah, because it's usually a page of a script is a minute. So, yeah. How true is that for you?
It's fairly accurate.
It is, isn't it? It's crazy.
It's a great metric. I think we usually have page numbers a little higher than the length of the episode, because it's a very wordy script, and the wordier a script is and the less direction, the longer the script is going to be to the final thing. So because it's a sitcom, and we're also we like to keep the pace up, it's usually a couple pages longer than the minute length, but usually pretty accurate.
I just it's never failed to surprise me how right on it is, because when I first learned that, I was like, that can't be true. And I actually would study movie scripts. That's how I learned how to write my own scripts, and a lot of times I was like, that's not true. Wolf of Wall Street's way longer than the script is, or way shorter than the script is, whatever. But then I started working on my own scripts and whatnot, and it is actually really accurate. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a great metric, and it helps to cut down the scripts, because you come in with a 35-page script and you want a 20-minute movie, you're going to need to start cutting.
Yeah, you got some issues there. Then I heard too that an hour of editing equals a minute of footage edited.
Yeah, that probably pretty accurate.
Yes.
very small editor.
For me, it's not. For me, it's never been too accurate. But then when I stop and I think about the music that I edit after the fact, and the sound effects that I edit in after the fact, then it starts to make a little bit more sense.
Definitely. But post production is just so many different things.
It really is. Do you do music also?
Yeah, so we have, for Derek and Ryan, we mostly use stock music. We've had some people try to compose for stuff. For this dramatic short film I did, I was very lucky. I had these two wonderful composers, and they did a fantastic score for the film. So, I've never worked with people who really, like, they just did a wonderful job. So I'm super, hopefully can work with them or, other composers again. But it's really cool. I'm excited for people to hear even just their score independently of the film.
Yeah, I really want to get some mini stroke right there. I really want to get some instruments and learn how to compose. But I've done GarageBand and composing my own stuff for my own films before, and it's really a challenge. Like, it surprises me how difficult that is. It's one of those things that you don't really give enough credit to until you're doing it yourself or you're studying, watching someone do it, and then you're like, wow, that's crazy. But
absolutely. And I think, I don't know if you had this experience, like, even if you have I've worked with some really, really talented musicians in the past. It's a skill in its own to know where to put music and what kind of music to put in the film.
Yeah.
Even if you can make music, just the fitting and having it build on your film instead of the track is kind of tough.
It really is, especially when you look at how much variety you have to put. I mean, there's so many genres of music. There's so much you can do with music. Obviously, it's crazy how oftentimes they'll give you something for a film that is just perfect for that film. Just like the score for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the Ecstasy of Gold.
Oh, what a I listen to that like every day in the summer, like every single day.
It's such a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah.
I don't know how you pronounce his name. Ennio Morricone.
Morricone. Yeah, something.
Yeah. He passed away last year. That sucks.
Yeah.
I just realized he did the Exorcist 2 soundtrack too. But
oh yeah, I mean, he was one of the most prolific. I think he worked with Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember what movie that was though. I'll actually look that up real quick.
The Hateful Eight, I believe.
Was it the Hateful Eight? Oh, my alarm.
Maybe. I don't know.
My alarm went off on my phone. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I gotta get to work. No, I'm just joking. The Hateful Eight. 1 second. I am interested in seeing this. Yes, you are correct. Do you know? So you must know a lot about movies. Who does what in what movies?
Oh, yeah, to an extent. I feel like, when you're like someone like us, we end up just absorbing so much in movie information just from watching a ton of stuff.
That is true. Who would be your favorite filmmaker?
That is a tough question. Favorite filmmaker? Man, there's a lot. I really like Peter Weir. Great director. He did The Truman Show.
Yeah.
I love that film.
The Truman Show is great. I'm trying to think of what else he did though. Peter Weir.
I think he did Master and Commander.
Dead Poets Society.
Dead Poets Society.
Yep.
He's done some more interesting films. He hasn't been doing so much stuff recently.
Man, if you like, sorry for cutting you off, but if you like The Truman Show, you would like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I know. I need to. As soon as this is over, I'm writing it down. I need to watch that movie. With your recommendation, put it over the top.
It is really great. I don't know if I've really seen a whole lot of Peter Weir's. I need to check into more of him.
Yeah, no, he's a fantastic filmmaker. Really, really fantastic.
Which one's your favorite of his?
Oh, probably The Truman Show.
Oh, after that then.
After that, Dead Poets Society.
I've seen that one too. Third favorite.
His whole filmography is great.
Okay.
I guess after that, Master and Commander.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check into all of his movies.
Yeah.
How
about you?
I really like Martin Scorsese.
Oh, great choice.
Yes,
Great choice.
yes. The Departed and the Departed and Taxi Driver
Yeah.
are probably
You don't
in
get
my
better than
top
that.
5 favorite movies. Both of them. I think Martin Scorsese is really good with capturing themes in his films. You know, the struggle of poverty, which is something that he's gotten a lot of his films. Uh,
Yeah.
I think he does really good with that. Like just like the scene in Raging Bull. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I haven't.
Oh, really? Him and his girlfriend get into a fight, and she throws a bowl at him, and it shatters. That film's black and white, by the way, but that scene right there always makes me think of poverty because you're so angry, and you throw something and it breaks, and it makes you even more angry because of the fact that you just threw something that cost money and it broke.
Yeah.
You know, it's a theme that is perfectly captured on film. You know, like
Yeah.
he does great with his stuff.
He really knows, and it's. I think with certain films, you don't even notice how good they are at conveying their themes, but then you realize when you're going to go make something, like how difficult it really is to communicate that. He's just a real expert he knows his craft extremely well.
I really wish he had 20 more movies so I could watch 20 more movies of his.
Yeah. Are
He's
you
great.
excited for Killers of the Flower Moon?
I am. I don't really know too much about it, but I don't mind that because I want to go into it being surprised.
Yeah.
When is that coming out this year though?
Might. When you're Martin Scorsese, you can take as long as you want to make
You really can.
They wrapped, I think, end of last year, so hopefully
I really liked that. Did you see that going around when they released the first image of that movie? And it was
No.
Leonardo DiCaprio and another lady at the table, and people were like, Leonardo DiCaprio looks unlike he's ever looked before in this image for Martin Scorsese's new film, but he looked exactly like he always looks. Leonardo DiCaprio did. So people on Twitter were like, "Which one is he? Is he the girl?"
Yeah. I'm looking at the image now. Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said he looks nothing like he's ever looked before, but it's like, wait, what?
His hair is a little different.
Yeah, yeah.
Very high.
What did you think of that movie he was just in on Netflix?
Don't Look Up.
Yes, there you go.
It was entertaining enough. I thought it was a little on the nose.
Yeah.
For the messages, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think movies like that, they get a little too retro. Like the title cards and all that, they stand out a little bit too much to me, and it's like,
Yeah.
you got too much energy going right into the movie. Like, calm down a bit, you know.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to Don't Look Up, it had obviously a very strong message, but I think it forgot to build compelling characters.
Yeah. Yep.
Leonardo DiCaprio's character barely has any. He has a little bit. He has his family. He does all that stuff with his wife, but Jennifer Lawrence's character has one personality trait that she's worried about this. Even all the Timothy Chalamet, who I think did a nice job, but there just wasn't much characterization there. In my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I also thought it could have been better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I really like about the Truman Show, going back to that, is that they made the movie look like it's an advertisement. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, that's it starts with like a little documentary style thing where they're all talking, and throughout they have product placement. It's a very interestingly shot movie.
It really is. I really do like that movie quite a bit. Yeah, that's one thing that I think is really cool when you can work a layer into your film that really makes it have its own life.
Yeah, definitely.
And organism to it. It makes it all the better. Is that something you really want to do with your work?
Absolutely. You want to be able to flesh out the world and have it be something that's lived in and real and feels layered and not just surface level. And it's tough to do.
It really is, especially to be original with it, because so much is done before.
Yeah, definitely. I love how this is Descend in the Dust, just talking about our favorite movies.
Yeah.
you put two film nerds together, you're gonna end up with that.
Yeah. Yep. What do you think about Breaking Bad, by the way?
I haven't seen beyond the first season.
Oh man,
really
you gotta check it out. It's so good.
I do.
It is so good. What's your favorite show then?
I mostly, I watch a lot of sitcoms. I really liked Veep. That's a very funny one. 30 Rock. The Office, a classic.
The Office is
like
good.
Guilty pleasure kind of.
I need to check out 30 Rock 'cause I know Donald Glover started on that.
Yeah, he was a writer for that for the first couple seasons. It's a very, very funny show.
Yeah,
it's like one of the highest jokes per minute.
I need to check that one out. Have you seen Atlanta that Glover did?
I haven't. I heard really good things.
Oh man, that one's a good one too. We're at this point, we're just giving each other recommendations for things to check out.
As soon as you mentioned that, my girlfriend just looked at me. It's like, you have to watch Atlanta. It's so good.
Oh man, it is super good. It is really good. When you said The Office, my girlfriend looked at me like, "Oh yeah, I love The Office." That's her favorite show.
I could agree with that. I was Dwight Schrute for Halloween 2 years in a row.
Oh, who were you, Dwight Schrute?
Yeah, from one of the Office characters. Yeah.
Well, you should be Creed with the blood on his shirt.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's probably my favorite Creed part, dude.
Oh, today's Halloween. That's really good time.
Yes. Yeah. Oh. All right, man. I don't know. What do you think? Was that pretty good for a podcast?
Absolutely. I had a wonderful time. Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by. I don't want to hold you up for too long. I know, especially when you're working on as many projects as you are, you're busy. You want to enjoy time with your girlfriend especially.
Well, I always down to talk film and stuff. And I would love to, if Derek is interested and we can get a Q&A set up, I'd love to be back.
Yeah, I definitely would love for that to happen. And I think me and you should definitely keep a little DM open for film recommendations and stuff too, and definitely try to collaborate ASAP.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll definitely get it set up.
Wonderful. Well, it was really, really great to meet you, Mike. It seems like
it was overdue. Yeah. I've been wanting to meet you for a while now.
Yeah, everyone, on Dracoid, I'm sure they're going to be very happy that we finally had this conversation.
I hope they get some clarity, too, out of high school finally having that Camp Kenny episode concluded.
Me too.
Coming up.
I hope they like what they see, because it's, long overdue.
I'm really stoked for the rest of Derek and Ryan also. And don't forget to send me those links, too. I'll throw those in the description to this also.
Absolutely. It's Derek and Ryan Fight Nazis, coming February 3rd on Maroon TV.
Okay, sweet. Yes, that, and then they're also on Dracoid Adult Zone, right?
Yep.
Okay.
They'll be all on the Dracoid Adult channel too.
Okay, I'll put the link to that one in the description below, as well as this Maroon TV. I'll try to find it. And is there anything else that I need to link?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely need to keep in touch on DMs and collaborate ASAP, man. Nice meeting you.
It was great to meet you. I'll send you a message, and hopefully we get to work on something.
Definitely. You have a good one, man.
You too.
Peace.
See ya.